We all know that Drake and 21 Savage have an album on the way, and maybe if you're watching this, it's out now, but I think the difference between this album and any other one that Drake has released this year or really ever is that the promo run for it has been spectacular. And if you aren't aware, basically what's been happening is today, being November 2nd, Drake and 21 Savage have both been dropping these cryptic videos that appear that they are on the Howard Stern show and also on a Tiny Desk show from NPR. And these were so incredibly convincing. Like, the editing was A1. The script for it was perfect. And you just felt like you didn't have to look at it again. But, you know, taking a double take at it, you spot small intricacies that are obviously different, but you know, at first glance, you have blogs reporting about this practically immediately, saying Drake and 21 Savage have a Tiny Desk. Drake and 21 Savage were on Howard Stern. And even days before, Drake and 21 Savage were on the Vogue cover, or at least teasing it. You know, I believed that for, you know, quite some time until now, until I figured out that all of this has been purposely fabricated promo, and some that is done in good taste. It's not putting anyone at a detriment, and once you look at it and you look at the high profile figures behind it, you realize that it's more ingenious than anything else. And I kind of want to just talk today about how this different promo run that they've been taking with Her Loss works, why it works, and just how different it is from what everyone else in the industry has been doing, especially concerning the, I want to say, terrible cover art consistency we've been seeing lately. So we start here with the Vogue cover. I think everybody thought that this was a real cover at the end of the day. And I mean, just look at, like, it looks legitimate. I mean, everything, I guess once you look a little bit closer at the quote saying you have to be political, you kind of understand the irony behind it and the satire. But then you look at the caption as well. Me and my brother on newsstands tomorrow thanks Vogue and Anna Wintour for the love and support on this historic moment, November 4th. You know, it's not anything outstanding or anything that deserves a double take, but it's just so interesting to see this, because Vogue's not going to put out a statement saying this is not an official cover, because that'll just, you know, further continue this tumbleweed essentially of promo for Drake and 21 Savage. And that tumbleweed continues when you get news blogs sharing these stories and then essentially resharing them by correcting themselves, saying, oh, this was fake, but, you know, it's interesting promo, and they have to essentially defend themselves from not looking into it enough, because why would they doubt when Drake shares something? He has 124 million Instagram followers, so it's like, what is there to lose when you are saying that, okay, Drake shared this, so my quote or my credit is from Drake himself? But Drake's playing the game as much as everyone else. And another kind of sad part, I think, is what threw people off is, you know, this was a clear marketing tactic that they had leading up to this, but then in the middle of it, Takeoff passes away. So you have all of you have this, and then Takeoff passes away. Drake has to post something, because obviously we know, you know, the Versace remix. Do I need to reiterate on that? Regardless, it interrupted it, and I think maybe that's what led people to potentially believing that it wasn't a joke. But, you know, you click on it and you actually watch the clips. Like, just looking here, this is way too HD. This is like 8K, and then, like, we know, if you know Howard Stern's setup, you know this isn't legit. But at first glance, that's the big thing. First glance, when this circulates on Twitter or Instagram, TikTok, I mean, YouTube Shorts will probably get this in a month, but still, you know, it's believable to a certain extent with the cadence in which they're speaking, and the editing is just so well done. So, you know, shout out to Drake and 21 Savage for just putting together overall a really good campaign, but I think it also highlights something else pretty interesting. So I see someone here say, like, you know, Photoshop Vogue cover, fake Tiny Desk concert, interesting rollout. Don't see the point in doing it, but okay. You know, I kind of drew something from this that I think maybe a lot of people didn't look towards, but it's looking through the lens of media literacy at this, and that when you see a reputable, popular figure, someone who is represented by agencies and labels and has backing behind them, you don't expect them to just put out something that is fake or, you know, and not obvious parody. And then something like this happens, and it's not only polarizing in that sense, but it causes you to look back at it, take a second glance. And that's what I love about it is, you know, for someone like me, someone who's a multimedia journalist, it's like, I just think this is so cool and interesting from so many angles because we don't see a lot of stuff like this. It's outside of the box, but also when you're someone like Drake and you've been teasing this for a bit, but you know, you're releasing an album and you can pretty much do what you want to promote it because it will get circulated regardless. This is essentially doubling down on that because he's saying, okay, you're going to report this. I'm getting a Vogue cover. I'm getting a Tiny Desk, and you know, I'm getting a Howard Stern interview. I think that was kind of the line in which people were like, this isn't legit, but you can tote those lines and you can do it successfully without jeopardizing the music or without jeopardizing people listening to the album because they're going to do it anyway. You're just putting it towards the forefront with immediacy and with satire. And I think with 21 Savage at the helm in this as well is kind of what makes it a little bit interesting, is like you wouldn't expect this stuff from him. And going next to the album cover, you know, I didn't really do a lot of research. Apologies. I don't know who this is, but you know, I think 21 Savage and Drake intended for us, if this is the legit album cover and not another continuous troll, you know, I'm going to assume we shouldn't know who this is. So I'm going to run with that context moving forward. And, you know, I'm not here to pull apart an analysis on it, but what I will say is it kind of fits with the vibe that they're going for thus far, which is kind of sloppy in a purposeful sense. Like, this is just like a, you know, poorly flashed taken picture. You know, it's clearly overexposed and not edited not edited at all because it's taken on film. And you know, I think that maybe describes what they're going towards with this project, of just kind of going with it, which I don't think we've seen Drake do since What a Time to Be Alive. And, you know, I think that if standing here right now, sitting here looking at this album coming out in about a day, I would sort of compare this to that going into it immediately, because it's a collaborative project from two people kind of at the top of their game, just going at it together, that we've seen produce fantastic tracks before. We saw that with Drake and Drake and Future, and we've seen that with Drake and 21 Savage time and time again. So it only makes sense that we get something like this from them. And I guess the main part of this is I just really love what they're doing here with the promo. I think it's different, and I think it's, you know, attention grabbing in a good way, and draws eyes to, in my eyes, media literacy and sort of how, when you are a polarizing and influential figure, you can sort of get away with stuff like this, but also make a statement by doing this. And I think that's evident by NPR's response here. Let's do it for real, though. You know, NPR, if you're interested in journalism at all, or you listen to radio, they're kind of top of the game in both of those regards. And, you know, this setup looks so legit. It's almost like a pat on the back to NPR Tiny Desk, saying, like, you know, they're the pinnacle for people in the popular mainstream sphere of putting their music on for their audience online, but doing it in an intimate way. And I would love to see these two do a Tiny Desk together. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But I'm excited for this album, Her Loss. I've been excited for a bit. It was upsetting to see them delay the album last week, but you know, stuff happens. I get it. Are you guys excited for it? Or if it's come out already, what do you think of it? What are your favorite songs? I'm surely going to be listening to it the second it drops, and I'll let you know what I think of it when that time comes. But let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. It helps me out, and thank you.